Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. As you can see, I got the shirt on this time, right? Because just coming off of an event that we had a couple weeks ago, which is again why some of these episodes are kind of put a hold on some of the episodes. But again, we're back full force. I got some kick-ass guests coming up. Jared is with me here. You guys, so I've known Jared for a few years now. Mostly through social media here and there. We've commented on each other's posts. He's a wealth of knowledge. Again, super excited. He's the first Canadian that we have on the show, so that's a big hoo-hoo to Canada, right? So we'll get into that, guys. But Jared comes from Calgary, Canada. The name of the company is Picture Perfect Cleaning. He is a co-owner with a business. He's been in business for 10 years. So I'll get into the revenue as well, Jared. I'll get into all that. But again, you guys know why we're here, why we bring people like Jared into this podcast is because the guy's got a great story. We're all about storytelling. We're all about empowering the cleaning industry. I know Jared is too. So again, sit back, relax, drink some cocktails, guys. I have Jared with me, and let's just get right into it, my man. Not that I want to go straight into revenue, but give us the initial steps of, again, nobody plans on getting into the cleaning industry. I love it. I know you do. How does this story start, man? Take us back to the beginning of the journey.
For sure. First off, Ricky, thanks for having me. I want to give you a cheers here. So,
yes.
Cleaning cocktails, gotta do it. There you go.
Yes. Cheers.
Perfect. So yeah, you're right. We're actually 11 years now in the business. So it all started, I took hotel restaurant management in school. I was working in the restaurant industry, and I thought that's where I was, kind of headed. I thought I was going to own my own restaurant one day. Always very entrepreneurial. But it was actually my now wife at the time. She wasn't my wife, but she suggested the cleaning industry. Her father was a refugee from Iraq, came here with, very little English, very little money in his pocket, and became a janitor. And, and then all his kids are well educated now and, doing extremely well. And she said, listen, there's some really good people out there that will work extremely hard for you.
Smart woman.
Yes, she is. Exactly. She sure is. So she said, you should look at this. And at the time, I didn't take it very serious. I kind of laughed it off a little bit, like cleaning toilets. I'm not sure. But then I started looking at the industry, seeing that there's a lot of mom and pops, there's the small guys that don't really understand systems, don't understand the professional level that they need to bring it to. And then there's the big guys that don't really give that intimate experience, right? And I knew that there was an opportunity to kind of bring both together, have all the systems, the professionalism, the amazing communication, the technology, and at the same time, give that boutique style, that intimate experience to the customer and the client. So I started looking at it. I had a friend of mine that was working at the restaurant that I brought this idea to, and he said, whatever you want to do, count me in. And we started with a couple coffee shops. He'd clean one, I'd clean the other 7 nights a week. And then by the way, I quit the restaurant cold turkey. And then we'd wake up in the morning and start cold calling and just hitting the ground running. Eventually we got another one. And today we have about 165 clients, about 120 custodians that work for us. We're doing about 3.2 million a year in sales. And we're loving every minute of it.
Good. Jared, well, give yourselves, hey man, this is probably the quickest double cheers I've had in this episode. So let's do a double cheers, right?
Absolutely.
And why I say a double cheer is for a lot of the people that don't know. So maybe in Canada it's a little different, but here in North America, Jared, dude, only the top 7% break that 1 million in revenue barrier.
Right.
And then you got the larger, $1 billion in revenue companies.
Yes.
But that's why I wanted cheers, because that is a milestone in itself, surpassing 1 million and then getting to 3, dude.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. I wanted to make a quick note for everybody to know too, because a lot of time I don't ask this question actually, is how much square footage do you cover, Jared? Because as I've gone to the BSCI conference, right, you go to the larger size contractor type of networking groups, not that they you get sized up, but that's a statistic that you should get to know, right? And I bring this up, guys, because I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, I was on a call with Jared and one of his guys, Michael, and it was a cool feeling because as we're talking, Michael's walking into one of their accounts, happened to be, I think it's a mall, and it was 300,000 square feet. Nonchalant, you guys. He's just, hey guys, don't mind me. It's going to get loud. I'm walking into one of our accounts. And then Jared's like, hey, show him the account. So flips the phone. He shows us. It's just a mall. It's just a 300,000 square foot mall. That's all. But just the feeling of you guys having that confidence speaking about this account, 300,000 square feet, man, that's no joke. Like, what is the square footage that you guys are at right now?
I've never actually gone through and looked at the full amount, but my guess is we're close to about 800 to 1 million square feet. It would be my guess. Have I gone through everyone? No, but that mall is a beast, no question about it. So they're an interesting one. They're not fully occupied yet, so it sounds a lot bigger than it is because the traffic's still fairly low. But we've been cleaning them for 3 years, and they've been an amazing client. But yeah, no, I would guess somewhere from the 800 to 1 million square feet mark is probably where we're at.
So Jared, I got so many questions, but I actually want to dig deeper in this actually, because I never really have discussed this for, the audience, right? We got a lot of small business owners that listen to the show, a lot of industry experts, a lot of people, bigger size companies as well. Yeah. But what size were you? How long have you had that account, for example?
Yeah, so that mall, we've had them since they opened, and it's been about 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm doing this for context for the audience, Jared, is.
Yeah.
So then 3 years ago, what size were you? Let's say based it off revenue. What size were you guys off of revenue?
Yeah, we were around 2.7 3 years ago. So
okay.
We actually, we've kind of plateaued in the last few years, with COVID and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So yeah,
rightfully so.
Yeah.
But the reason why I asked that, Jared, is again, I want the audience to let that sink in. Jared at that point was a $2.7 million size cleaning business, which, again, that's a big business. And if you look at statistics, but at the same time, it's a small business when you look at the bigger guys. But why I'm touching on this is for everybody to realize is he's a small size cleaning company winning a 300,000 square foot mall shows you can compete with the big guys. Do you mind me asking, like, what was, and we're going so deep into this account, what was the reason did they give you that they chose you over somebody else?
It was really being at the right place at the right time. This mall in particular is all about local services. So they wanted to use a local provider. So all the vendors there are local. So it's kind of almost like a high-end farmer's market, right? So because of that, to be consistent with their brand, they were looking for a local cleaner. So they actually found us online. And they reached out to a few companies, but I remember that first call when they called me. They're based out of Toronto. They called me and we had a 45-minute conversation, and we hit it. You felt it right away, right? And he's like, this is a great match, and they've trusted us ever since, and they've been an amazing client. So
see that's a great. I mean, just. Again, I didn't mean to go so deep, but I wanted to actually peel back the onion there because that's a perfect example that we can compete with the bigger guys. In this case, they were looking for locals, so that's in your favor. But is Calgary? How big is Calgary?
I think we're about 1.2 million or so.
Right, so it's a big city.
So decent size, yeah.
Decent size city,
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So I've asked this a couple times now, and I love when I get the answers to this. But was there a moment outside of the coffee shops, right? What moment did you realize when you were like, and co-owner, what is the co-owner's name?
Aaron. Yes.
Was there a moment that you and Aaron were like, guy, man, we made the right decision. We are on the path to something that we are excited about, and this is no longer just a side hustle. This is the future of our, call it a career, but our entrepreneurship. Tell everybody what was that moment, man? Like,
there was a few. I will say from the very beginning. So I've written maybe 20 different business plans for 20 different businesses before I started Picture Perfect Cleaning. And right. So, and every time I would get to a point where it says, this just doesn't work. It just, the numbers don't make sense, or maybe the demand doesn't make sense, or whatever, right? I'd poke too many holes in it. This one made sense from beginning to end. And I just started seeing that all of it added up, right? So I was confident in the industry right away. Right from the onset, I knew we were onto something good. So then came the grueling hard work, right? And then we got into it, and then it was an eye opener, that we had to clean all night and work all day. But I always knew that we were onto something, right? There was never a moment of real doubt. There were certainly moments of, oh my goodness, how am I going to get out of this? Mm-hmm. But we knew that we were doing something right, and people were liking what we were doing. So there was a moment where, because I came from the restaurant industry,
so you kind of knew that overnight. You coming from restaurant industry, like the overnight extended hours of.
Right, exactly. Right? I already knew how to work hard, right? I was working hard from day one, 12-hour days and all that sort of stuff, right? So when we started this, there was a moment where I was working in the coffee shop. It was wide open, the windows. It was nighttime, and there was a red light right beside that coffee shop where everyone was stopping. And it was the most trendy street in the city. And so, all the nightclubs were there and everything. And right. And here I am.
Where the story's going. I could resonate. Right?
Yeah, nice. So here I am mopping, in this coffee shop. And I know there's people outside that probably know who I am, that I've worked with because I was in the industry for so long and, just at that age. And they were probably looking in thinking, what is Jared doing mopping a coffee shop right now? And, that was a powerful moment for me, knowing I am in the right place. I came from this place where, it was just, going out for drinks and all this kind of stuff, and nothing that was positive in any way. And here I am mopping this floor, and it was the most humbling experience. And I said, this is where I need to be. And so that was the next moment. It was year 3 when we started paying ourselves a consistent salary. Right. And that's when I finally was like, okay, we've made it. We got a manager, we started building some infrastructure, and that's where I knew for sure we're good.
Nice.
So there's a few different steps along the way.
Oh man, I feel you on that. I got goosebumps as you said that, because it's almost like an image thing, right? Like I remember the first couple of years, it was like, I didn't really want to tell too many people, what I was doing. I was just doing it because again, you're in a networking event. What do you have to talk about when you say, I own a cleaning business? Whatever. It's a stigma. Yeah. But hey, we're both happy we're proving that stigma wrong. But
100%.
So, but all right. So we're talking about restaurant hospitality, and what comes to mind now, because obviously, Jared, staffing is always an issue with everybody, right? But what I've seen work for us in Chicago is going after bussers, food runners, servers. Because of what we just said earlier, is the work ethic and the hours that you work in hospitality almost sets you up to be a perfect cleaning technician or a supervisor or inspector. What would you say to that? Does that, are you on the same wavelength as me with that?
Truth be told, no. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So we actually rarely hire people from that industry personally, and that's just our way. I mean, everyone has their own way, but I'm just being honest. We look for a more mature custodian, right? So like I'm often looking for that, maybe it's a husband and wife team. They're often, they've been here maybe for 5 to 10 years. So they have, a good knowledge of English, they've been around for a while. But they're not, because I find a lot of the people from the hospitality are fairly fleeting people in generally, right? Yeah. So they kind of come and go. They're not sure where they want to be in life yet, right? So I'm looking for a little bit more of a mature custodian.
Okay. I'll take that.
So different approach. Yeah, not saying one's better than the other.
Nah, for sure. So knowing you, Jared, and again, seeing you on social media and, just the wealth of knowledge that you bring. And for those who don't know Jared, right, the guy, smart guy, is got a ton of, we'll get into the articles and the publications and just the way you approach business, Jared. I respect very high, highly respect it because you bring value, right? You're not selling anything. You add value to people's need, their want, their hunger for trying to get to a place that you're at right now. I feel like you've caught that bug of coaching and mentoring. You were actually telling me some of the people you've mentored before, which I think we have some of the same colleagues that you've actually mentored. When was that moment that you knew? Because I've been asked to mentor and coach. There's a lot of coaches and mentors out there, good or bad, whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But when did you know? You said, "Hey, you know what? I want to give back. I want to help." Because a lot of people would say, we should stay focused on our business. Why are we trying to help others? Focus on your business. What do you have to say to that? Like, what triggered you to say, "Yeah, I want to be a coach and a mentor"?
For sure. A couple things. It's a pretty deep question. I would say, when I was in my, early to mid 20s, I was craving that mentorship and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find someone that was willing to just, take me and say, "Here, I'm going to teach you everything I know and come with me for the ride." And I was willing and ready to work my butt off and do whatever it took. I was craving that mentorship and I never did find it. I have some good mentors. I shouldn't discount it. My father, my uncle, a few of my uncles, I had some really good mentorship, but in the business world, not as much. And so,
because family's family, right? Family, like they're going to fall in that position to be a mentor or yes, in some way or the other. But okay, keep going.
Yeah, no, exactly. So when I actually felt this and proved that I guess you could say I knew what I was doing to a certain degree somehow, and we made it to the point that we were at. I wanted to be able to share that with others. And, I wanted to give back because I know that there's some amazing people out there that just don't know those proper steps to take. And so if I can help speed that process up and get them there to, A to B or Z or whatever that is faster, then I'm happy to do so. Right. When COVID hit, I out of survival, I'm like, okay, well, if the world's crashing right now, where should I put my attention to? And so I started thinking, well, maybe I'll do some coaching on the side and see where it goes. And I did. I've done some coaching, and I think I've helped quite a few individuals out. Not really looking for, not from a financial perspective, but more just, to give back to the industry. But I've never really. I've always. One day, I think I'm going to put more attention to that. I really believe that.
Yeah. But because then, Jared, don't you think too? This is why. Like, this is my answer to to everybody who's always asking about mentorship and coaching is I want to be fair to them, right? Where I want to have an agenda, I want to have a curriculum, I want to have a plan, right? Because it's one thing to answer the phone, answer a message, jump on a Zoom call. Those are in the moment type of, Q&As type of things. Yeah. But if you're really going to mentor and coach somebody, it's like you've got to be there for along the road, right? The journey, the ups and downs. Yes. Shit's going to hit the fan. You may have given bad advice for a certain moment, right? Like we're all human. We're all, it's human nature. But I respect, the ability and the want and the need to try to help others because again, the main thing why I do want to pick it up at some point and like I've told you before, I want to build this program with coaches is if we level everybody up, what does that do for our industry?
Absolutely.
Up. It just goes up. Why? Because quality improves, efficiencies improve. Clients don't give us that, oh, well, the guy down the street's, charging me $15-20 an hour. They're not going to charge that anymore. Why? Because everybody is starting to raise the bar. So
yes,
I feel like it's an important part that we're always learning. Right, I'm always being mentored and coached. I don't care what revenue I hit.
Yes,
right. To be honest.
Likewise. Yeah. No, absolutely. There's a great opportunity to help each other out, right? And there's enough business for all of us. And with technology today, like I can help someone out in Austin, Texas, and it doesn't, it only benefits him and it doesn't hinder me in any way.
And
right?
anyway,
That's right. That's right. So there's a great opportunity, and I agree. There's an amazing community online of commercial cleaning owners, and we can all help each other. There's no question about it.
yes, you need to come to the next cleaning and cocktails event, my friend.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. Book
So,
me in.
Jared, let's talk about your online presence, man. And I bring this up for people to listen on is your website's great. But it doesn't stop there. Like I again, right? I do my research. You have articles, you've got blogs. I've seen some video posts that you do. You guys have some. Do you have a YouTube channel, or is it just YouTube videos that you guys?
We have a YouTube channel. Not that we do much with it, but we do have a channel there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Social media is there. There's a lot that goes on your website that if I didn't know you from the outside in, if I look on the website, I've gotten to know you. I understand what the business is. There's actually something I forgot to mention. PPR, Picture Perfect Cleaning, Picture Perfect Cleaning, PPC.
PPC.
What's the other meaning behind PPC? If you could share.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two questions there, and I'll get to both of them. So People, Planet, Community, play on words of PPC, Picture Perfect Cleaning, came about as we've always been aware of the importance of corporate social responsibility and giving back. And that's been from day one very, very important to me. I'm a capitalist, but I'm also a Christian, So it was Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, that said, there's a beautiful space in this world where you can make a lot of money and do a lot of good, right? And that's always been our philosophy from day one.
Everybody should follow that philosophy. I don't understand.
Yes, exactly. 100%. And that's the thing. I'm the type that I'm just not I don't like relying on the government, right? And so I believe that corporations have a responsibility to give back because we have the manpower, right? So it doesn't always have to be money, but it can be people. So we go do volunteering events. We do every year, we do a summer camp where our whole team goes and, does all sorts of different activities for the camp and that sort of thing. We do a lot. We do a lot of things like feed the hungry, and so this is not a financial. We do pay for the food often, but it's also supplying the people. So that's always been really important to us, and it just pays itself off, right? Like it's not just a good thing to do. It's actually a good business thing to do to give back to your community. Yeah, it really is.
Because I know, we do. I'm on the same boat as you with that. Like, don't you feel like it improves the overall culture of your company too? Like they see that you actually do care, and yes, it's about business. When it's nitty gritty, but there's always time because why? You got the people, you got the community, you got the infrastructure. Right. Yes. You're building something that can then really, it's like tentacles to get out.
Yes. There. Yes, well, exactly, and the people, by the way, like our custodians that come and do the work, they feel so good about it, right? Like when we do the Christmas hampers, we drop off, so we all go and we fill the baskets up, and then we spread out and go to homes and deliver hampers. We do that every year. Like our staff feels so good about what they're doing, and so you're creating a culture within the company that's so much greater. It gives people purpose, and it's powerful stuff. It really is. So that's been important to us. Now, your next question, which is totally different, is
I threw two out there. I do that. I normally do that. I throw two at a time, and I try to confuse you.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. You did a little bit, but I caught up to myself here. So it was about the online presence.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Listen, like. Google is the yellow pages times 1 billion on steroids, right? So when someone is looking for you, back in the day, I need a cleaner, right? Not everyone knows a commercial cleaner. So when they need someone, they opened up the yellow pages. Now, what do? They go on their phone, they go on their laptop, wherever it may be, and they start Googling. Right. So you need an amazing online presence. I can't stress that enough to any cleaning company. And that is multiple pronged, right? There are many different avenues to take as far as having that presence goes. But focus on a few at a time. But yeah, that's how we got that mall. right? They
Yeah.
Googled us,
There you go.
and they found us online, and then you got to capitalize on it, of course.
Because it's about it's your brand, right? Your image. Again, a lot of people that may search you guys, right? Everybody that's listening is, they may never even speak to you, right? That site, that presence, that brand, that image is speaking to them. So just think about that for a second, right? If not, I'm not saying, again, everything costs money. There's an expense there. There's a cost, but just think about the return you're going to get if somebody clicks on your page and it just feels good. Everybody wants to do business with people they like, or
Exactly. Yeah.
So think about, it's got to speak for you when you're not able to speak, is
Yes.
really the bottom line.
Exactly. Tell the story, right? Tell the story on every avenue and wherever they look, so they get a real feeling before they even call you who you are. And that is key. And there's expensive ways to do it, which we have done, and there's inexpensive ways to do it as well, like getting Google reviews, right? Google reviews are free.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're about, I think we have 71 5-star Google reviews. We don't have a one negative review, right? And so people, and that by the way, that comes up all the time when people find us is, I saw you have no bad Google reviews.
Yeah.
At first, they thought we were fake at first. They're like, we've never seen a company that had 71 perfect Google reviews, right? So that's huge. So, get those Google reviews, get that online presence. That's something you can do inexpensively if you study it and learn it. So
awesome. So, Jared, as we're on the topic of websites and online presence, I know you personally are a big tech guy, right? So, for a couple weeks ago, I think we were talking about Route 2.0, right? I was getting some feedback from you. How important would you say? Again, we know technology will never take the place of a human performing the work, right? But talk about how technology will help you as a business owner and your teams improve. Is it as vital as people will say, right? Like me, I think it's vital. I think it's important. But I mean, what's your 2 cents on how technology helps you as a business owner?
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. It is super amazing what is out there right now, and the efficiencies that come into play when you bring in technology. It's unbelievable. Like it makes your life so much easier, and it helps you scale your business, right? Like to a totally different level. So like I believe that we are in the best time ever to do business, ever in the history of anything. There's no better time to do business because of technology. All right. So like I can do 90%, maybe even more of my work right from here, right from this spot.
And that's what's crazy, right? So, remote work. You would never have thought. I never thought that was going to be the case when I first started.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, we don't have an office, right? So, and when COVID hit, like we
time out. You're a $3 million a year cleaning business. You don't have an office?
We don't have an office. This is my office.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That's a whole other story. We could go there. Yeah.
That's a first for me. Wow. Okay.
Woo. Yeah. No, there's
like a whole other direction now.
That is
amazing, dude.
Well, listen, it's because of technology, right? And it really is. And we do a lot of things that build culture in different ways, right? Like going to do those community, services. We did prior to COVID have weekly meetings at a cafe. We rented out a boardroom there. Now we do it on Zoom. And so, yeah, that's what,
that is amazing. So like that really, when people think, you need a workplace environment to build culture. I mean, you're a testament to say no. Like
you don't.
Well, you don't really. Wow.
I don't believe you do. And a lot of people listen. Like I've had this conversation with more than just you about, I don't believe it. You can't do it.
So I don't want you to come to my office then. You're going to come here and be like, what the shit is going on over here?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, we're looking at some things right now, like an acquisition, and they have a beautiful, well-run office. And maybe we'll go in there and say, if we do purchase it, and we might say, listen, actually this is a good system and let's keep it. Right. So I'm not saying, like, I haven't seen that other side, but we've done it and it's worked well. Anyways, that's a whole other conversation. I'd happy to talk
Yeah,
about if you,
right. Good.
but
That is that's a little shell shocking. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
but the point is that we did it with technology, right? There's no way we could have done it without, and we are in an amazing time right now. If you use them properly and you put them in play, implement the proper technology, and it's done right. And those who are developing the technology really take the time, like I know you do, to take the time to understand that technology and the end user and what they need. Man, it's phenomenal how effective it can be.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's why I'm happy we're friends. You're getting a lot of
totally.
feedback from Jared every
Yeah,
day. That's a good
yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
So Jared, let's talk about the fact that you're my first Canadian represented company. Um, what would you say? Is there anything that stands out that is done differently in the Canada region as far as commercial cleaning goes, or because you've been in North America, you're right, you've been
Yeah.
to US, you've come to the shows here, like you talk to business owners from US. Is there anything that is different, or no?
No, no, I mean, besides getting paid in maple syrup, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, no, honestly, like, what's amazing about our industry is that it is so the same everywhere you go. Like, there's some like rate, like you have to pay more or charge more or that sort of thing. But like, I can talk to someone in, Austin, Texas or Utah or, Chicago, and we're going through the same struggles, right? Or the same successes, right? And our stories are all very similar. And so no, I don't think there is that much
Okay. No,
difference.
well, that's fair to hear that, and that's
Yeah.
actually that's motivating to hear that, right? Because again, me coming from I own my business, but building technology, that just again proves the fact that technology for our space can be universal, right? Like we both know
100%.
Mike from Sweps out of Canada, right? Like
Yep.
he knows the U.S. consumer. So that's why I was always interested in, is there anything different? And the way that app is built, I don't really see anything different really on
No.
how business is done in Canada and done here. But I want to ask you just on the personal level.
Yeah, no, not there's not much. I mean, obviously there's subtleties that as far as getting the process of getting incorporated and the taxes and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's whatever, you figure that stuff out. But as far as the janitorial industry, it's the same. And what's cool too, take that a little bit further, is it's the same for size too. I mean, whether you're doing $5,000 a month or even $1,000 a month, or you're doing like I was just meeting with a gentleman that oversaw 147 million a year in janitorial business. Yeah, they're the largest in our country, and so, but he told me, he said, listen, like it's the same, right? Like whether you're doing a little bit or doing a lot, it's the same service. And so you just got to learn how to scale that. And that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's an amazing industry.
So Jared, not that this was meant on purpose here, but as you can see, I'm pretty much done with this drink. And the question that I'm about to ask compares to this drink here is, as I was looking on your website, I saw that you guys made your way to Mexico. What was that part of that PPC?
Yes.
Let's
Big
talk.
time.
Because I drink a Modelo. Because
Yeah.
Mexican. So again,
That's right.
that caught my
No.
eye. I saw the Mexican flag and the Canadian flag. I was like, wait a minute, what's
Yeah.
what is that? Again,
Well,
share that story.
sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's really neat, actually. So, a gentleman, so when I worked in the restaurant industry, I was a day manager, and we had a gentleman named Timoteo who was a dishwasher there. And every morning we started at the same shift, and we started at the same time and ended at the same time. And he was always there about 5 minutes before me. He beat me to the punch. And when I would show up to work every day, he gave, like, I always looked forward to seeing him every morning, because he gave me the nicest smile and was so gentle and nice and the hardest worker. And when I was stressed out dealing with the restaurant, I would just come back, and he, by the way, he barely spoke any English at all. And like almost nothing. And I would come back there and just, just be with him. And he just brought a lot of peace in that environment. And I realized, how amazing of a guy he was when I moved locations to a different restaurant. And then all of a sudden I saw him working there at night. So same restaurant, same company, but what he did was he would work all day as a dishwasher at one, and he didn't tell anybody. So he was actually scared that I was going to get him in trouble.
Yeah, because I'm working so many hours. Yeah.
Right. And you'd hop on the bus, go to a different location and work all night at the other location.
Wow.
And so then this guy was my hero. Like, he was truly my hero, and he always had this smile on his face. There was, and so I started, inviting him over for dinner. I took him we have the Calgary Stampede. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but it's a pretty big event here, a big rodeo.
I've heard about it, yeah.
Yeah. And so I took him to that. I just spent some time with him and really tried to, bring him into my family a bit. And just because I saw how good of a guy he was. And so anyways, he ended up going back to Mexico and working for the government there and working in the community, supporting entrepreneurs and teaching young kids how to get into business.
Wow.
And so I loved his initiative. I knew him really well, and I trusted everything he was doing. And I said, how can I support you? In any way. And I didn't even think of this as to be part of even PPC, to be honest with you. At the time, this was just a personal initiative to want to help this guy out.
You guys had such a close relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And he honestly, he's one of my heroes, right? Just the work ethic and the way he just approaches life. And so he said, yeah, you can financially support me if you'd like to, and whatever you want. And so I started sending money down there, and sure enough, he turned it into a PPC thing, and
that's awesome.
built a banner and
there you go.
So yeah, so that's how that happened. But amazing guy, and yeah, and it's so neat to be able to impact a place like that. So
I'm doing that, and I mean, again, like, talk about a great story for everybody here, because again, what are we here for, right? We're here to empower this industry. Yeah. Talk about a powerful story. Man, dude, I didn't know that was all behind that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Again, cheers and kudos to you.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks, Ricky.
So as we wrap up, I did want to leave everybody, well, a couple of things, but for the main point, talk to the small business owner that is a mom and pop, Jared, the brother, sister, the solopreneur, the husband and wife, first year struggling, second year don't know if they're in the right industry. Because the same as you, my third year was my aha moment year.
Nice.
What's some bits of advice for them to push them through? It's a struggle. You know that. This industry is a struggle because it's not glamorous. Throw some tidbits out there for them so they know that, hey, we're listening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, well, first things first, I mean, it's pretty cliche to say this, but you have to work your butt off. Like, you have to go hard in this industry. If you're going to make it in the first few years, at least, it's not a get rich quick, right?
By no means.
By no means, right? It's just not. You're not going to get rich quick, but if you can build a very solid business and you can do very, very well, and you can get rich. I mean, I've seen others that have done it, and I believe I'm on my way. And so you can do it, but it's not quick. We're in year 11 now, and we're not rich. So yeah, you got to be patient, and you got to be ready to work. You got to give it your all. So that's number one. Number two is your people are the most important asset by far. So you have to put all your energy. If you can get the people side right of who you hire and how you train and how you keep that relationship with them and all of that, if you get that right, you're going to do well. If you can't get that right, and that's always a struggle for you, you got to figure that out and quick. Yeah. And so because the fact is it's the 80-20 rule, right? Like, you spend 80% of your time on the 20% of the people that, the worst people, right? So, hire slow and fire fast. If you're spending your time on them, trim them right away, right? They can't be there. You have to, and take your time when hiring. Like I interview, when I put a posting up, I try to get anywhere from like 60 to 90 responses. And there's a whole art to that, how to even put up a posting. And then and I narrow it down. I usually, do about 20 to 25 phone calls. And then I narrow it down to about 10 one-on-one interviews. Right. And then from there, I hire one. So like the process, yes, to get one person. Right. I put so much energy and effort in there. And by the way, we have about 120 custodians, and to this day I've hired 90% of them. And I don't
do you guys have HR, or you are HR?
I am HR. Yeah, that is what I do, right, in the business, and I do very well because I surround myself with amazing people. Right. And if you surround yourself with amazing people, everything else falls into place. And often people that are way smarter than me. Like when we first started the business, our cleaners were teaching me how to clean. Like they were laughing at me.
Which is okay. Dude, it's trust me, I have the story of the only 2 complaints we ever got for window washing. Guess who did the window washing?
Right. Exactly.
So
exactly.
You've got
right.
Do not be afraid to no.
Yes, exactly. Don't, and that's the reason why I'm so successful, is because I'm not good at anything. So I have to surround myself with people that are amazing, right? Because people that are good at things, they become like the technician. I don't know if you've read Michael Gerber, E-Myth, but they become a technician, and they become so good at it that they don't know how to replace themselves because no one else will do it as good as them, right?
But what's the saying? Like you got to always work to fire yourself.
Right.
Like fire yourself from your position.
Exactly. So take care of your people is really the bottom line, and find amazing people that you're happy to take care of. So yeah, awesome. That'd be my advice.
So actually, before I let you go, then now that you've talked, because I feel like it's sales and it's staff hiring. What would you? One last tidbit is that first manager that you hired. I feel like that's a very critical moment for us as the owners that are doing the cleaning and then trying to work on the business during the day. I remember my moment, right? But how important is we know it's important, but how did you go about doing that? Would you have done it different now? But don't you agree? Like that first manager or management level position is where you then take it to the next level.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes, for sure. 100%. So how do we have time for a little story?
Oh, no, it is important.
Okay. It is
an issue where a lot of people, they're stagnant in this position where it's, because again, I was there, like you got to trust this person. It is a very critical moment. So please share.
Yeah. Okay, so we had this one daycare that we were cleaning. This is a story, okay? Bear with me, you'll see where I'm going. but it's a good one. So we had one daycare that we were cleaning, and one evening our cleaners went there and they saw that there was a flood in the basement. So right away they called myself, they called my partner Aaron, and they're panicking. There's a flood down here. So Aaron and I, jump in our cars, we head down there. Aaron creates like a makeshift pump to get the water out. And I'm on the phone and emailing every person I knew from the company, trying to get a hold of someone. And sure enough, we got a hold of this gentleman named Scott. He was a new facility manager of the company. And he's like, yeah, I'm actually in the area. I'm going to drive down right now. And he came over and saw what we were doing. And he was like, wow, this is amazing. Right? Like I've never seen a cleaning company do this. Like you're pumping the water out and doing all that. And yeah. And so he happened to have his son with him, whose name is Connor. And in conversation, Scott said, maybe Connor wants to work for you one day. And, we exchanged cards and kind of made a joke out of it and whatever. So about a few weeks later, I get a call from Scott, and Scott says, hey, can you come meet with me? And I met with him, and he said, listen, I have something to tell you. I have 6 months to live. I was just diagnosed with cancer, right? And we were like, oh my goodness. But before I go, I want to give you all of our daycares. We have about 25 of them in the city. I want to give them to you, and get you that contract. And so we said that's unbelievable. Thank you. And whatever. So side story, we did get all those daycares, and we worked through the contract, and he actually had to stop working before we completed that contract. But at the same time, I kept in touch with him. Like we brought him some food. He was just a single dad with he had 2 sons and a daughter who lived elsewhere, and he was totally unfunctional. And so we were bringing them some food. We were visiting with them, and just checking in on him. And I realized that his son Connor was actually a really high quality guy, and they were fairly new to Calgary, and he didn't have a job or didn't have anything. So I said to Aaron, Aaron, why don't you take him out fishing, spend some time with him, get to know him, and maybe this guy could be our first manager. And sure enough, he did. And Connor ended up being amazing. He's still with us today. Wow. Scott did end up passing away, but left us that legacy of those daycares. And his son, who is with us today, is our longest standing manager. So that's a long story, but we got it right. So
goosebumps right now. Jesus Christ, I got hairs all over me. What the hell?
So there's yeah.
But look at how critical and crucial that was. That
yes,
I got things fell into place, but I feel like you guys initiated them to fall into place. Look at where you're at today. You never know, right?
Yeah,
you never know when that right person is in front of you. So always be looking, right? Always be looking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite the story. But yeah, so anyways, we got really fortunate. You're right. It was a crucial hire that kicked us, that really helped us get that foundation. And he's done every role, like he's done everything, right? Like because we had no definition of what a manager looked like at that time. So it's kind of like we just need help, right? That's all we need.
Well, that's a testament to, like you said, it's the people that you surround yourself with and the culture you build. Mm-hmm. Him being here still to this day. Again, kudos, man. Picture perfect cleaning's got it going on.
Thanks,
man. Got it going on.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, so that's a wrap, Jared. How do you feel about that? Was that good?
It feels amazing. Oh, it was amazing. I love talking to you, Ricky.
So, Jared, what I'm going to do too is in the description, if you don't mind, I'm going to drop LinkedIn, your website, some contact info, because anybody else who wants to talk to you or reach out to you, if you're okay with it, hey. It's to them. Reach out to Jared directly, guys. It's a great story. He's a great guy, great coach, mentor. Dude, thank you. I appreciate for your time, man.
I appreciate you, Ricky. Thanks so much. Right. Thanks for having me on.
Guys, that's Cleaning and Cocktails. Another great episode. Until next time, peace out.